$300 million drift through silence. A golden ghost floating over the black water, forgetting why it was ever built. And in that silence something dangerous lies, because even the ocean seems afraid to speak beside it. If you love stories where luxury casts a shadow, where waves remember and steel has a soul, hit subscribe right now. In 60 seconds you'll understand why most people who bought freedom ended up prisoners of their own peace. Look closely. This is the silent empire. 200 feet of glass, titanium, and money that escaped gravity. A helipad on the roof. A jacuzzi warmer than the sea. Light that never dies. It looks like paradise. But listen, paradise has no sound. And what makes no sound rarely stays alive. First, there is no randomness here. Not a single mistake. Every bolt, every breath of the crew is calculated. Even the air is filtered to erase the smell of the ocean itself. Freedom loves chaos. Here, chaos was polished out along with feeling. Imagine walking barefoot across the deck. Warm teak beneath your feet. The sea is right there. But between you and it, glass. You can see it, not touch it. This isn't travel. It's escape standing still. Second, who really lives here, you or your reflection? The owner rarely steps outside. Why would he? From his climate-controlled suite he can watch the world through tinted glass. Breakfast in the Mediterranean, sunset in Dubai, midnight in the Maldives. Thousands of miles, and not a drop of salt water on his skin. He says, I built her for freedom. But the yacht doesn't sail, it drifts. Between ports, between illusions, between fear and fatigue. And third, what do you hear when the music stops? If silence starts to crush you, that isn't peace. That's isolation. In the jacuzzi, the water's warmer than the sea. Laughter sounds like it belongs in a museum. The ice in the glass melts slower than your dreams on shore. And when quiet finally wins, you hear it. The low hum of loneliness stretched tight like an anchor chain. Be honest, could you live here? Silence sharp as glass. Eyes without words. A ship that moves but doesn't live. I spoke to one of the helmsmen, 27 years old. He said, the scariest thing is perfect weather. At night he walks the lower corridor, where the air smells like cold steel and expensive soap. He listens not to the sea but to the electricity. Then he adds softly, I miss the sound of storms. That's what freedom looks like when someone steals the wind from it. Sometimes the owner asks to stop the engines. He says he wants to hear real silence. And then you can hear the hull breathing. Once he whispered to the captain, it's the only sound on this boat that doesn't belong to me. Irony has never been so expensive. Freedom, bought for millions, turned out to be a very quiet prison. Look at her from afar. 90 meters of perfection cutting the sea like a scalpel. But perfection is always a little death. Because life loves friction, noise, mistakes. Salt on the lips and water on the floor. Here everything is sterile. Nothing spills except time. Take a breath. Say it out loud. Real freedom means motion. These vessels only imitate it. They shine for cameras, not for journeys. They are not luxury. They are museums of loneliness. And the main exhibit is silence. Still here. Good. Then here's what I promise, the universal test. 3 questions that separate freedom from a cage. First, does this bring you closer to life? Second, is there more movement than posing? Third, is it easier to breathe truth here? Or just conditioned dreams? If at least 2 answers are no, you're not free. You just have a better view. Now the final part. At night she glows like a temple. But get closer, it's a mirror. Inside it, all of us. Our escapes, our fear of hearing ourselves. Our obsession with control. And one day it will fade. The lights will tire. The glass will fog. A single gull will land on the helipad. And the sea, as always, will whisper. Everything luxurious eventually sinks. Not because it's weak, But because it stopped moving, if you're still here, subscribe. Because next time, we'll dive deeper into what happens when silence starts to answer back.